Good morning. Those of you who are joining us online, good morning as well. Pleasure to welcome you today. My name is Harold Kim. I'm the board chair and also chair of the search committee this year. Before I turn the platform over to Alan Freeman, I just wanted to say a few words about our process. So those of you who attended on Tuesday, I apologize, I'm repeating myself. But I think it's important that everybody understands how we got to where we are, and more importantly, what our expected process is going forward. So last spring, when we announced the search, we solicited names for potential candidates from basically everybody who would information. So we reached out to our network, our alumni network, our former faculty, former administrators, the LCMS network at large, all the people in our community here. We solicited a large number of names. Working with our search firm Spencer Stewart, the search committee then whittled those names down to 70 names, down to 35 names, 25 names, 12 names, and finally we came up with a short list of candidates, 7 names that the search committee met in person in New York in July. So very intensive 3 days of meetings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The search committee became very close during that time. But we had a terrific set of discussions, and we sent our color back to the church in terms of how we viewed the candidates. They were all terrific gentlemen, all very accomplished, but the ones that we thought were better fits for our school and maybe ones that might have more of a challenge. And then the church then went into their own deliberative process, which took some time. Last December, the church came back to us and confirmed that indeed they liked our thought process and agreed with our top candidates. And then we proceeded to invite the top 3 candidates both to Hong Kong for this week, and then over the last 2 weeks they also met the church leadership in St. Louis. So that brings us to where we are today. As you know, this week has been jam-packed with meetings for the 3 different candidates. We've had the benefit of having them all here with their wives so they can meet our community, so that we can meet them. We've had a very busy schedule, I think 18 meetings or something for each candidate. Including meetings with the parents and with the faculty at large and the smaller parent groups, all the administrators, and of course the board. We value your input, and that brings us to today. We understand as a board that we have certain priorities in terms of candidate qualities that we look for. These are very important for us as a board in terms of driving the school forward. But we are also very cognizant of the fact that there are other viewpoints that are equally important. So whether it's the way the faculty, the administrators, and the staff might view a candidate, certainly the way the parents view the candidate. And so we've really tried to accommodate all of these different viewpoints by having these forums and soliciting input from all of you. So this is important to us. We welcome your participation and we really value your comments. Joy is reminding me that we'd really like to have all comments by the end of the day tomorrow, Friday. And that's to give us time to collate and review the comments in time for our board meeting Monday night. So the process going forward is after this week, the board meets Monday. We will go through our thoughts on the candidates and hopefully come up with our preference order. Again, taking into account all of your views and submit them back to us. We will then deliberate with the church. So the church also is developing their views on the candidates, and we hope to come to a common conclusion within the first 2 weeks of February. So if all of this goes to plan, and I'm hopeful it will, we will be able to announce our choice for head of school by the end of February. We're very close to the end. It's been a long process. I, for one, am very thankful that we're getting to the end, because I'm acutely aware that we don't have a head of school, and that's very important, obviously. But we're very grateful for all of your help and support, so thank you in advance. I'd like to introduce Alan Freeman. Alan Freeman joins us from St. Louis. A little bit about Alan's career to date. The bulk of his career was spent at Baltimore Lutheran, which he joined as a new teacher back in 1994. He was a social studies teacher, and then within a few years was asked to chair that department. Years after that, became the principal of the upper school, and then a few years after that, an interim, and then finally head of school, where he spent 8 years as head of school. What was very impressive to the search committee about Mr. Freeman's tenure there is not just that he had the confidence of the people he was working with to be chosen to lead them, but the transformations that he led at the school. Baltimore Lutheran was struggling financially, both in terms of revenues and enrollments,
and some of the changes that he was able to put in place to really put the school on the right footing. Very interesting to us was the fact that he actually led a change in the name of the school, and I encourage you to ask questions about that. I mean, it was a real recognition of where the school stood in the community and what changes they needed to do to really broaden their appeal. He also instituted a very interesting program with students from China, which I'd like him to touch on as well. Following his tenure there, for the last 2 years he spent as the Missouri district head for the LCMS. And so just as the Baltimore experience was relatively narrow, because it was at one school, but very, very deep, the experience in St. Louis was almost the reverse, very, very broad. So as the district coordinator, he's able to work with over 100 educational institutions, ranging from, in his words, the proverbial one-room schoolhouse in the middle of rural Missouri, all the way to large urban schools. And he's been able to work with them, consult with them on a variety of issues, all leadership driven. So faculty attracting, retention, budgeting, governance, branding and marketing, curriculum, pedagogy. He's been able to see such a wide range of issues and problems, and also best practices, and I think really complement his work at Baltimore. So we're very thrilled to invite Alan to join us today. His wife, Kristen, has joined us as well, so I'll ask Alan to introduce her as well. But please, give him a warm welcome. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for coming out this morning, and as Harold said, I know you have a busy week and a lot going on, and seeing different candidates and everything else, so thank you for coming this morning as we get a chance to meet one another. You get a chance to find out a little bit about who I am and my career and my family as well, and then we get to have a great discussion and dialogue I'm excited about. My name is Alan Freeman. My wife, Kristen, is right here, traveling to Hong Kong for the first time, so she's very excited about that. I've actually been here a few other times. This is, I believe, my 5th trip to Hong Kong, but my first time at HKIS, so it's very exciting. Quite exciting to see this new building here, very impressive. A little bit about our family. We have daughter Holly, our son Samuel. There's a few photos of us throughout different venues here. A celebration party in the top left. My daughter turned 16. And that bottom picture in the middle, that was her first time out as a driver, driving on her own. And we were waiting for her at a restaurant to show up. She actually had her cousin in her car, and I had to snap a photo because I was so excited. One, she got there. Two, no scratches on the car or anything else. So it was a great day. Everyone was safe and sound. And there you see a few other our photos. It's kind of hard to see the one down below. That's our move to St. Louis. In fact, we live in St. Charles, Missouri, and that was our first day at a new high school. Entering grade 9, and our son entering grade 8 when we moved there. Currently, they are in grade 9 and 10. So our daughter is a sophomore, 16 years old. Our son is a freshman and 14 years old. And they are excited about the possibility to move to Hong Kong and HKS and everything that HKS has to offer. There you see their love for animals, and the photo on the right, I used to not only be a social studies teacher and then department head and all the way up through head of school. One of the things that was exciting for me to do, I was a basketball coach as well. I coached varsity for a long time. I coached JV basketball for a long time. And then as head of school, it's a pretty busy role to have. I didn't coach most of the time as being head of school. And then all of a sudden my daughter came into middle school. We didn't have a middle school girls basketball coach, so I came out of retirement. And I coached for 3 years. Well, I kind of showed up from time to time. I had an assistant coach who did an awful lot for me, but it was very exciting because I got to coach my daughter. And that was our last game together right there, so always one of my favorite photos. Baltimore Lutheran School, as Harold kind of guided you through my career there, started in '94 as a social studies teacher. My wife started there in the fall of '95. So her first year was my second year, and we met there. Chris was a Spanish teacher at the school for a long time, also an adjunct Spanish professor at Towson University for about 17, 18 years, teaching multiple levels of Spanish, and then she stayed at home with the kids for a while. Came back to Baltimore Lutheran School and was a Spanish teacher and registrar. And I kind of went along developing all different kinds of social studies classes, teaching everything, and then upper school principal for quite a while. In my last 8 years, as Harold said, as head of school, doing multiple things. One of which was branding the school, or rebranding the school, taking us through the whole process. Harold mentioned we went through some financial struggles and difficulties, decline in enrollment, many of our feeder schools closed. So it was cast a wide net. What are we going to do? Reflecting on the school and the abilities that we had to reach out into the community. Baltimore Lutheran School is kind of a narrow name. Baltimore, large city, not where we were located. We were located in Towson, Maryland, a great suburb, tree-lined streets, upper middle class income, lower upper class income levels, Towson University, Goucher College, Stevenson University, all these great places. Not Baltimore, which didn't have a great reputation. Crime, violence, poor school system. So it really didn't reflect who we were as a school or what we were doing. Lutheran school, we had a lot of questions. Do you have to be Lutheran to go there? Well, I'm not Lutheran, so I guess I can't go there. Kind of an identity crisis a little bit there. And that's how I describe it in many ways when I do a longer presentation on that. So as head of school, I had to really reflect on what is our identity, who are we, what can we be, and how can we grow and reach out. Well, many of our students, when I was head of school, we had about 25–27% Lutheran population, about 18–20% Catholic, 10% unchurched, 5% Mormon. We had diversity all over the school, students from Baltimore City escaping the school system there to come to our school. We had affluent parents who were sending their children to our school. We had a small international population that was looking to grow. So we had a real diverse campus in terms of socioeconomic background, as well as cultural background and identities. And our school itself had lacked a lot of infrastructure, repair, attention to detail. So I took a look at that as well, and also wanted to raise the level of curriculum and instruction. So saw those as the goals to rebranding the school. So we worked on all of that. First, we took on infrastructure repairs, putting millions of dollars into our facilities, ramping up our internet capabilities, redoing all the classrooms, amazing repairs through collaborative efforts of donors and teachers and everyone involved, including the board, who was very supportive of this. So, repairing the infrastructure, renovating the classrooms, improving everything, getting it ready for a name change to cast that wide enrollment net, which we did. Changed the name to Concordia Preparatory School. We have ramped up the curriculum and instruction, improved our teaching at all levels, improved the look of the facility, and now improved our name too, and put forth really who we were. A school that's an inclusive school, and at the time when we changed our name, we were 17% Lutheran, 28% Catholic, 5% Mormon, several unchurched, a diverse place, a great community. As Harold mentioned as well, I did travel to Asia, flew into Hong Kong, traveled across, went to Shenzhen, and recruited international students. We had about 10% of the student population, 17, 22 students every year. There were international students from China. We had international students from Korea and Germany and a couple of African nations. So a pretty diverse population that we grew. So we really changed not only our name, but our identity and who we are as a school, recognizing that we serve everyone. A very inclusive place. So it was a lot of fun to take us through that process. It is still growing today and doing wonderful things, not only with the international population, but growing in the community as the school of choice. A lot of students, a lot of families are coming now to Concordia Preparatory School. So it's a lot of fun going through that process. You see Baltimore Lutheran School transforming itself to the bottom to Concordia Preparatory School. Here you see a little PR spread that was done by local media on our name change. Same mission, different name. Recognizing the fact, wide cast, but really, you know, the non-negotiables were still there in terms of who we are and what we were doing, and the fact that we were a school of excellence, transforming ourselves into the school of choice where families know that they want to be, they want to go, and creating a real community at Concordia Prep. As Director of Schools for the Missouri District, I do oversee 113 schools, 9 high schools, 53 elementary schools, and 51 early childhood centers. So I am out traveling quite a bit, visiting schools all over the place, seeing students and faculty and principals, helping in many situations with curriculum instruction, board training, teacher faculty development, identifying principals for schools that are in need of a principal, creating teacher lists for schools that are looking for teachers, running conferences for our principals and for our educators and other workers. So I travel around a lot, the accrediting body for HKIS. I also serve as president of the Missouri Council of American Private Education, a body comprised of multiple school systems throughout Missouri. Included in that are Lutheran schools, Catholic schools, Christian schools, independent schools, Jewish schools, and Muslim schools. So we have quite a coalition of schools. We come together to talk about common issues, about legislative agendas, to lobby the state of Missouri's legislature, especially for vouchers, education tax credits, funding for non-public schools, for textbooks, or buildings as well, infrastructure repairs. So that is quite a coalition of schools, great think tank, a lot of discussions, not only about legislative issues, but we do start talking about students and instruction and other areas of commonality. There you see, again, background in a lot of the accreditation bodies that I work with. Leadership, that's always one of the questions. Well, how do you lead? Here's some ways that I like to say I lead. Passion. I love schools and children and education. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. It is a passion. I love what I do. It's exciting. It's exciting to see communities built. It's exciting to see parents and teachers and students and future students getting ready to come in. This is why we are in the field of education. I'm very passionate about it, very excited about it, and excited to see where it's constantly going and heading, and to learn and grow from and with everyone. Collaboration. It's great to see all of you out here and collaborate on the search for HKIS, to collaborate with educators and administrators, with those in the area or within the school and those without, learning with and from one another, always. Ideation, vision, strategic planning. You know, you go to my Strengths Finder 2.0, those are all on the top of the list. Hence the name change from Baltimore Lutheran to Concordia Prep. What is the vision? What's our plan? Where are we going? How are we going to get there? Always improving. How are we raising ourselves so that we are benefiting the school, the community, especially the students that we're educating, and bringing you as families into that picture. Communicator, we have to communicate. Sometimes we think we are, but we're not really. So we have to accomplish successful communication and multiple modes of communication. And we have to be in dialogue. Developer, yes, I love to develop. Infrastructure repairs at Baltimore Lutheran School, helping schools in the Missouri District with their finances so that they can build and grow, so that they can serve students, teachers, community. And at the end, this is what I do. Engage, equip, encourage, and evaluate. Engage different constituencies. Along the way, equip them with what they need to be successful. Encouraging, cheering, getting behind them to support them, always. And then evaluate, assessing, where are we? Have we gone far enough? Do we need to go more? Let's constantly evaluate so that we're on that spectrum of improvement, constantly growing to become all that we can be, always. So that's a little snippet of kind of who we are as a family and who I am as an educator and as a leader in our schools, whether it be in Baltimore or Missouri District. And now, I think it's your turn to ask questions or questions about our family, questions about the schools, questions about here at HOS. Yes?
Talk a little bit more about your transformation with Concordia Prep and how you engage different communities and the parents, the faculty to go along with your vision of where, or to come up with a vision of where to end up.
Yeah, great question. A lot of focus groups. You know, I had a lot of parent meetings. One of the first things I did is I had meetings with our donor groups. A lot of them one-on-one, and then spreading out more collaboratively with small groups and then larger groups. We had focus groups with parents, focus group with alumni, with current students, and we discussed, you know, what do you think about this? What's going well at our school? What do we need to improve? What do you think about name change? What do you think about several names? And that was about a 2-year process. We did a marketing study as well. We brought in a marketing company, had them do a study of our school and our name and where we were in the community. They had their own focus groups that they ran as well. So it was a very collaborative effort. A lot of discussions went into that name change. And the board as well, highly involved in that process and discussing everything. Great feedback from students, current students that we have in the school. If I take you back to one photo, you'll see a quote in there from one of our students that was the 4th child in her family, the last one. She was a senior that year that we changed the name. Both of her parents had gotten into the school, Baltimore Lutheran School. So she wasn't necessarily enthused about the name change. And the quote that she gave in the article was, "It truly is the same school, only better." And the name change, while I didn't think I would like it, I love it. And I know why they did it, which is exactly what we were after. That would not have been the response had we not gone in and had a collaborative effort and let people know and have a voice in it. We needed that. One of the other things we also did, every year we had a climate survey. So I had 15 years of data, of information about how we were doing as a school and where we needed to improve, where we needed to grow. One of the things I saw about our market surveys and studies, we didn't have a great identity. People didn't know who we were. So we identified, we need to change that. How do we do that? Maybe it's a name change, maybe it's not. In this case, it was, and it helped us.
Was there fundraising that went on with that?
Yes, yes, a lot of fundraising that went on. With the name change, that's a pretty significant expense. That means all new uniforms for all athletic teams. It means that Baltimore Lutheran School, that was embossed on a very nice stone facade at the very front of the school. What are you going to do with that? It's embossed in concrete and a stone front. Talked to one of our donors. What can we do with it? He happened to own a concrete company. He said, "Give me 5 days and I'll fix it." Sure enough. He came out, filled it in, put nice brass letters that popped out on pegs that then spelled Concordia Prep School. He did a great job. So that's very much the case. You have to involve your donors too. If you change the name and you haven't done the legwork with your donors, you might change the name but not be very successful. So yes, a lot of inclusion and discussions went into it.
From the discussions that you've had throughout this search process and come to know HKS, what would you see as being the biggest opportunities and the biggest challenges that the school faces?
Excuse me. Well, great opportunities. A significant opportunity is the school, the culture, and the diversity. And you have it at the teaching level, you have it at the student level. Those are all the things that I was growing at Concordia Prep as well, just not at this level. So that's exciting. You're bringing all these learners in together to develop, learn, and grow. What an amazing place. You have a facility like this, pretty amazing. You have teachers that are constantly learning and growing their profession. They are encouraging and expecting growth from one another as well. You have administrators that are doing a wonderful job, that have vision and planning. One of the weaknesses perhaps is you haven't had stability at the head of school spot. It's been turnover for various reasons, none of which are real any cause of HKS, just those things happen sometimes like that. So just think if you have a leader that comes in as the head of school and is able to take and build this community and this network and bring these campuses together, the leaders together, encourage them, encourage the teachers to build and grow this community that's already here doing such great and wonderful things, and is at the top creating continuity over the years. Wow. How amazing. You talk about opportunity. I mean, this is just waiting to explode even more, and it's a great place right now. This is going to be an amazing place. Not that it isn't already, but just think about that possibility. That's what excited me at Baltimore. Growth and opportunity and all these different backgrounds. How amazing is that? And now you have that here at HKS, just at a greater level. I see that as a lot of fun and excitement and a journey that will be absolutely incredible. Yes?
First of all, thank you so much for being interested in our school. It's exciting to see someone with your profile and experiences interested in HKIS, so that's really exciting. My question to you is, this is your first time, you've never worked in Asia. And as you touched upon before, one of the challenges or opportunities that you see is creating stability in the leadership here at HKIS. How does HKIS and being in Asia fit in your personal life plan, and sort of what are your plans? How long do you plan to stay in Asia, and what are you thinking about being here in Hong Kong?
Well, what I've heard an awful lot over the last couple of days, there are a lot of people who said, I moved to Hong Kong and I was going to be here 2 or 3 years, and now it's 20 years later. So it's one of these places, it's a special place. It keeps people here. It is an amazing, amazing place where you come in and the community here is supportive. It is a place where East meets West. It has opportunity all over the place. How long do I stay? Who knows, but I think you need somebody here that's going to stay for multiple years. I was asked this question by, I don't know if the search committee asked me this, I know the IC asked me this when I was with them. I said, I think you need somebody here at least 7 to 9 years. I could say 20, I might say 30, who knows? But I think you need somebody that creates that stability in that direction that is really taking you to that next level and equipping and encouraging and supporting and developing and assessing and saying, now where are we going again? And that's a constant process of improvement. So I would expect a long time. We're excited about the opportunity. You never know what happens, but if it does, I think it'd be a long time.
Exposure, kind of what you did with regard to China, so he's coming in not completely.
Yes. Yeah, as Harold mentioned, I didn't think he mentioned this a little before the introduction. I have traveled. Now, I haven't lived here, obviously. So that would be a change. It would be different. But I have traveled. This is my 5th trip to Hong Kong. When I came here before, I would travel and kind of use this as my base to do student recruitment throughout China. Typically, my trips were 11 days long, where I would go Shenzhen, Beijing, Shanghai, Chengdu, Wuhan, Hefei. So I travel around, not only do student recruitment, but also professional development. I talk to teachers, I do sessions with principals, We talked about the American system of education and the Chinese system of education. So I've spent some time. Now, it doesn't mean though that it's a lot different when you move and you start integrating yourself into the culture and the environment. But that's something, obviously, it seems like a lot of people have done it and loved it. So I see this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing the story of the name changing for Baltimore Lutheran School. And you mentioned in the story, you mentioned branding, you also mentioned identity. So my question is, throughout it's actually quite a long process, 2 years of parent focus groups and discussions. So is it more of clarify the vision that was not clear to everyone, or rediscover the original identity of the school that was kind of lost along the way, or reshape the identity together with all the stakeholders? So I just wanted to clarify.
That's a great question. You should have been in one of our focus groups. We did rediscovering. I think that's a great phrase, because we did that. It was a rediscovering of who we were, what's our foundation, who are we. But you hit it again, it was a reshaping too. Reshaping ourselves for the future sustainability of our school. And we didn't really have a good plan for that. I kind of say that we went along for 48 years, just kind of looking at each school year on its own, without really developing a strategic plan, a long-term plan, where we headed and how we're going to get there, and assessing it along the way and redeveloping along the way. So we did all of that. Market studies helped us, focus groups helped us. We had a lot of supporters. Now, it doesn't mean that we didn't have some detractors. There was always a few people in there that didn't necessarily like the name change. But long term, right now the enrollment continues to climb. They're doing a great job at the school in terms of the faculty and the administration, continuing to attract and retain students and grow that enrollment. Part of it was growing some of our programs as well. It wasn't just the infrastructure repair, but we put funding into the music and drama programs. We brought in new coaches for our athletic programs that were professional coaches that came to our school. And that helped. We started summer camps. We started using the school every single day. When you would come to our school, before the rebrand, coming in the summertime, you might see 4 or 5 people there working. After, when we were at Concordia Prep, coming in the summertime, see about 200 kids there each and every day in the summertime, participating in our activities, our events, and our summer camp programs that we also ran for international students. So we had soccer camps and basketball camps and lacrosse camps. Part of that was enrollment efforts. We ran a summer camp for international students. Typically students from Shenzhen or Beijing would come in for 2 weeks. A very active place. So we used our facility all the time, doing what we do, educating students, educating the whole child. Whether it be academics, athletics, socially, we were doing it. So it was an incredibly fun process. It took time, and it was definitely difficult in areas, but it has certainly paid off.
Thank you. Did you modify the curriculum at all when you went through this branding change, and if so, how?
Oh, well, what we did is we said, what does excellence look like? Excellence in teachers, excellence in curriculum. How do we redesign the curriculum? We instituted STEAM programs. We instituted additional clubs. Some of those clubs were design clubs, robotics clubs, 3D printing clubs. We looked at collaborative efforts in our different programs and how teachers could work together. We had a program for students with learning differences that were breakout classes for them. We had support classes for our international students that needed them until they no longer needed that support with language acquisition. We helped there. So yes, we also taught college courses on our campus. For instance, my wife was an adjunct professor from Concordia University who taught Spanish 101, 102, 201, and 202 on our campus to our students. We had 6 other teachers that were designated as adjunct professors teaching college courses on site, not online or any other method, but right there. We instituted new programs in our middle school as well, getting more electives, getting more classes, getting more clubs, more time for the students to discover different talents and abilities, and also social interaction that we felt was important. Athletic programs as well. So yes, all over the place. And it's us all the time trying to figure out what don't we have that we should have, and do we have something maybe they're not interested in that we need to change. There was constant evaluation of everything. Every year I would sit down with our director of guidance and we would go over grade distribution of every class that we taught. We'd take a look at our reports, we'd take a look at standardized tests, and then we'd have those discussions with our faculty. This is what we're seeing, what are you seeing? Are we going to change and adapt for next year to benefit our students? It's fun process.
Can you also talk a little bit about the China exchange program that you have established in your school, the rationale behind it, and how you put that through in the school?
Sure. The rationale behind it was we saw opportunity there. We saw a market in students from China who had a desire to come to U.S. schools. We felt that we were in a great location in Baltimore. We also felt a lot of students were coming and going to New York City, or they're going to California. Why not Baltimore? And we had a great school with great support, great homestay programs, families that would be willing to step up to the plate and host these students. We had great students at the school that would be exposed to students from China and other cultures. How great is that? A diverse learning environment that benefits everybody, our whole entire school, the families that are connected with, our students, our faculty. Just a great winning program all the way around for everyone involved. And Baltimore, we're an hour outside of DC. We're an hour from Gettysburg, a historical site. We're an hour and a half from Philadelphia. The first Congress there, Annapolis right there, Richmond, a historical spot 3 hours away. We're 3.5 hours from New York City. Why not here? We have a lot to offer. So we did. We offered, they came, great experience. Our students benefited from it greatly. And I always say that the day that I knew it was a success, and we really reached that point of accomplishing what we set out to do, was when I went to our homecoming dance, and one of our international students was voted homecoming king. And I thought, that's it. This is a winning program. That's exactly what we're after. Telling me that we really succeeded on having this dynamic learning environment where they were learning from and with and growing from and with one another. It was amazing. Great kid too, he was outstanding. Still stay in touch with him today. But that's what I do. This is it. And the program continues on, which is a testament as well to the people that are still there and how well it's working.
Can you talk a bit about the challenges when you conceived of it?
Oh, yeah.
How you got the program marketed in China?
Yeah, let's just say that not everyone was on board right away with the program because it was a challenge. We didn't have dorm rooms, so you have to find host families. Same thing with the summer program. You're bringing 80 students in from China for 2 weeks. Where will they stay? How much will this cost us as a school? This won't work. I heard that from faculty. I heard it from board members. I heard a lot of times it won't work. My mantra was, why not? And if it doesn't, we try something else. But I think it will. Let's give it a shot. You can always tell me I'm wrong. So we did. And we went ahead with it. I went overseas, visited all kinds of schools, gave presentations, talked with families, did one-on-one interviews while I was there. We had a lot of people very interested in the program. And then once we brought them over, another great moment in the program that I really love. So Chris and I, we hosted students in our house too. So we had students that stayed with us. We had one that stayed with us for 2 years and graduated from there, from Concordia Prep. His family, when I went for one of my visits to recruit students in Shenzhen, his mom came to the presentation that I was giving to the parents. So I said a few words. She stood up, introduced herself, said that her son was at our school, her son was staying with us as a host family. I didn't need to say anything else. She controlled that room and talked about the program and how her son loved it, what a great experience it was for him, the academics of the school, and everything else. It was amazing. One of the other amazing things is when I went to China on my trips, the students that went to our school, the families always wanted me to come to dinner with them. And what an experience when you're sitting in Shenzhen at a table with about 12 parents whose students, their children, are back at our school. And we're talking about their experience at our school, how they're doing. I'm showing them pictures that I just took before I came. I go back and I'm showing them pictures of their parents that I had dinner with in China. It's a small world, and it's getting smaller every day. I mean, we have a live feed here of this presentation. You can go online, you can find all kinds of different things that are out there. You can connect people, you can take courses. It's amazing. So we better teach people how small the world is, how to collaborate, how to interact, how to understand one another, work with one another. What a great experience. I mean, that was a lot of fun, being at a dinner table with families like that. You talk about a moment to just kind of stand back and say, wow, this is pretty cool. And a parent selling a program as well, you know, saying that great experience.
Thank you for this opportunity meeting you. I just wanted to know, so it seems to be you have great success in this school and you rebuild the brand and put everyone together is a great community. So what made you to leave this school and come to join Hong Kong International?
Oh, well, that's a good question. So I left Concordia Prep after doing all of this. A lot of people said, why do you live in Concordia Prep at this time? You know, now everything is just ready to explode. And I left for opportunity in Missouri. I mean, it felt right. 113 schools in Missouri to help and direct and guide. And I thought a place that could use my talents, skills, and gifts in doing so. So we went. Now, what about going from Missouri to here? What's the draw? The draw is opportunity. It's excitement. It's what's happening here, and it's about what can happen here. And if I can use my talents, gifts, and skills to get that going and allow what is ready to kind of explode toward greater excellence here happen, that excites me. And you have a great community here. You have talented educators. You have students here that are amazing. You have students that will be coming here who are amazing. You have parents like all of you who come to an event like this to hear me go on and on and on and talk. So you're committed, you're engaged. We have a community here that is working together for excellence and success. There are amazing things that have happened here and can happen here in the future. That excites me. Your environment here excites me. Hong Kong is exciting. This is a wonderful opportunity. I have a lot of people in Missouri that would say, why would you leave a position like this? It's a pretty good position. It is. Sometimes things just develop, and it's, yeah, I think this is something that could be great. A great opportunity, and one in which I can use my skills, talents, and abilities to help you.
Well, to be honest with you, we are new to Hong Kong International, and I love Hong Kong International. My twins just started this year in R1, and this is the first time I ever felt Hong Kong is home because I joined HKS, this the community, and I feel this great feeling of welcome and you know, collaborate with the school, with the families, and everyone's here. presumably, you can see this value of in Hong Kong International. So what are you going to do when you become a head of school? What are you going to make this even better?
Well, that would be to make sure all of the divisions are working together, that the principals are equipped, the educators are equipped to provide for the students. You hit it yesterday in the meetings I had. The word that came out all the time, whether it be students, administrators, faculty, community. And that's what you're experiencing. The community affects the togetherness. It's a home. It's a family. We figure out more and more ways to develop that, promote that, capitalize on it. It should feel that way. When you walk through the doors, you should feel at home. Your kids should feel at home too. How do we make sure that we continue to do just that and bring more and more families in who are searching for just that as well? And that goes back to kind of that leadership stuff. Collaborative effort, making sure that I'm equipping, encouraging, engaging, and then assessing how we provide that, always. Forums like this are always great. Climate surveys are great for feedback to figure out where are we excelling, where maybe are we missing a little bit on that community effect, and how do we address that? We get that from you as parents, we get it from the students, and then you take a look at it. What do we do about it? And a lot of times what you do about it is you bring people together and say, how do we do this? A collaborative effort. So it doesn't just all come from me. You have talented parents and individuals, we have talented teachers. I ask the question, how can we make this happen? And it's identifying that we constantly are working on it. How many times do you have something great, and it's great so you figure out, I don't need to worry about that anymore because it's going so well. Well, if you don't pay attention to it, what happens? All of a sudden, it doesn't continue to go so well. You have to pay attention to make sure that you're always looking at that community atmosphere and figuring out continual promotion and development of it. So it's intentional. It should always be on the forefront of what's going on here.
Hi, Alan. Thank you so much, not only just for being here today, but even your whole family thinking about joining a totally different community. We've been here 13 years, and every day it's been a tremendous blessing for us. Could you say, you mentioned several times the collaborative effort, and really that is our whole experience here, the collaborative effort of different divisions, different backgrounds, families, but also the church and the school together. Can you talk a little bit about your own personal faith and
Sure.
and then how that integrates into being head of school and what that means for that collaborative effort? Thanks.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So being around Lutheran schools the whole time, I grew up Lutheran, went to Lutheran colleges, as well as spent some time at the University of Nebraska, now University of Arkansas, different educational programs. And in terms of faith life, always continued in that process of being at Lutheran churches as we are, in Lutheran positions in terms of principals and heads of school and now director of school. In terms of your community here, one of the things that was really exciting for us in Baltimore at the school was being surrounded by so many different faiths and the diversity and the opportunity that provided as well. And same thing here. You have that diversity and that opportunity. You have the foundation and connection with the LCMS that provides that walk, provides that foundation for things that are going on here. It provides for that character formation and everything that's happening in and outside of the classroom. You see that. And you see that with the faculty and the students and the administrators. That is that foundational undercurrent that's happening at all times, in all ways. And yes, we get that opportunity to encounter all of these different faith walks that are happening and encourage and support and to be there. That's part of that community again that you develop and you become a part of. That's exciting. So I see that as an opportunity. And again, it's exciting too because I've seen how well that works in our community in Baltimore and Concordia, and And now you just multiply that by several digits, and that's here at HKS. So that fascinates me and excites me too.
Being an international community with multi-ethnicity, you not only have people with different religions, you have people with no religions.
Oh, absolutely.
How do you deal with that?
The same way.
Don't necessarily want to have more religion, who are very happy the way things are.
Yeah. That's the same way. We had that in Baltimore Lutheran School. We had a large percent of our student population had no religion whatsoever. And, you know, it's that undercurrent where you're there as supporting students, supporting faculty, allowing them to grow, develop, discover. That's what you do as a school, right? That's what we do in education. You do the same thing in the faith walk. You allow them to grow, to discover, to develop. You encourage them in the process. You're there to support them when they want to have conversations and discussions. You provide. And that's what we did at Baltimore. That's what you do here. You see them in all different places of the journey. That's not something that I can come in and say, that's it, this is what we're doing. You allow it. That's the educational process too. Same thing, that faith journey. And that's exciting. I think there's a lot of opportunity for that. And you look at all the different experiences here, like the service learning projects and encountering people in different lands and areas. That's amazing. That's part of that journey and discovery process. Seeing how they develop, how they grow. And that's why we're here. That's what we're doing. So that's fun.
I just want to go back to the question of community. I think that your experience with Concordia Prep is fascinating, particularly with what you did with China, internationalizing that community. I think my own experience of HKS is it really has provided a home to us in Hong Kong, mainly because my children are third country nationals. So I'm wondering what your sense of your thoughts are on what community is, what anchors it, what the essence of it is, particularly given our context as an international community, and how we can all come together around common themes that the school, I think, really helps to provide, and how you can really accelerate that.
Sure. Well, I think your mission statement here provides that sense of community. Your teachers here provide that sense of community as well. As you said before, you come here, I don't know if this is your experience too, but you come and it's home. I think it's always, you come and it's home because of the teachers and that undercurrent that's constantly there and that support that's there. A lot of times in Lutheran schools, I say this in the Missouri district, I used to say this at Baltimore Lutheran Concordia Prep, people would come into the school and they would come for a visit, we'd take them around campus, everything else. They'd say, there's something different about this school. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something different. That's called community. That's called home. You found your home. Because we're very intentional about that. We're very intentional about making connections and talking with the students and talking with the parents and creating intentional community events. Things like this right here, that's a community event. That becomes home. That brings you into the process. Sometimes we're not intentional about it, but it just happens because of who we are, because of our educators who are passionate about developing your kids and your students and growing their skills and abilities and maybe recognizing something in them that you didn't even see as a parent because they're with that teacher an awful lot during the day. And sometimes we can see things and say, you know what? They might enjoy doing something like this, or, I think they have some artistic skill, or they have some musical talent here. Have you ever thought about that? That's why we offer electives at school too. And we also allow students to do things that are opportunities for them to fail. I mean, how many times have you heard a student say, oh, I hate singing, I never want to sing. And we encourage them to go out, well, just, try choir. Just give it a shot once. Well, maybe they really don't like it, but maybe all of a sudden, because we encourage them to go out for that, they find out, I kind of like this. I can sing. That's a community too, providing opportunity and recognizing each child. Not just, oh, here's all the kids, but I know you, I know the child. I know as we progress through, and we become a family environment, encouraging one another, growing together, identifying what's happening. those are community events happening each and every day in school. And then outside of school, the activities that we have to come together, celebrate HKS, celebrate events, celebrate who we are. That happens. Sometimes it's a fundraising ball where you're all together having fun. Sometimes it's in the classroom where you encourage a child. But there's that constant undercurrent that makes us different. And you feel it. And sometimes you can't necessarily put your finger on it, but you know it. That's what I always want to see at all of our schools. That's what I talk about in the Missouri district at the schools. Parents, kids better come in, they better feel it. And if not, you better figure out why they don't. And we need to address that.
Can I just interrupt? I want to respect everybody's time. It's already past our allotted time. I think we'll do one more question, and then we'll wrap up.
Thank you. Alan, Chris, thank you for coming over to speak to us. Thank you again to the committee for running this whole process. You've proven yourself to be a bit of a turnaround artist, huh? Getting it all from bottom, bringing it back to the top. But HKS, I think, is a bit different. I think it's actually thriving already. It's doing very well. And one of the things that it's doing very well in is that it does, if you want to send your kids to university in the US, you basically come here. In Hong Kong, this is the best. Now, Hong Kong is already a very competitive environment. Now, my question is on where to send kids to, or where kids go after they finish here. Or what's your view? I mean, what are you going to do? How are you going to improve what they've done here already in getting kids ready to go to the top universities, especially US, but also around the world? Second, how does where does this fit into your overall agenda or your strategy? How important is it to you or to your agenda, to your strategy, with respect to where kids go after they leave here?
Well, it's always important. You want to prepare students to be able to go to the schools of their choice that are the best fit. So it's always got to be a top priority. And in terms of how do you get them there, well, that's where I'll go back to assessing. So we want to assess, well, when the students go off to their various colleges, we want to follow up and ask, how well did we prepare you? Where did we not prepare you well? And bring that back to the faculty and administrators and read that data and information, figure out, do we have any gaps? Do we have any holes that we need to address? We also talked to, we did this at Concordia Prep, we evaluated this all the time. We surveyed our students after they left in the first year of college to find out, did we prepare you? If not, where did we drop the ball and how do we address that? We also talked to college admissions counselors and found out, what is it that you're looking for? When you do the interviews, when you look at grades, when you look at SAT scores, give us feedback so we can analyze our programs to be successful and provide. Constantly evaluating our teaching techniques, our disciplines, our approach to it, so we can provide the best. And really that comes to excelling in the classroom. And you better excel in the classroom no matter where the students are going, but on the other side, it allows your students to go where they want to go. So it ends up being your end result. You're constantly evaluating those academic programs. And I love to get advice from all these people. We used to do mock interviews at our school, bringing in admissions counselors from different places and sitting down and having them interview some students so we can find out, how did they do? Where did we miss the mark? Where do we need to train them better in terms of writing essays for college admission, in terms of the interview process? We want to look at all those things. So that's that constant evaluation. That's that assessment piece. And that's going back then and utilizing that data, that information to improve. And we're doing it from different sources. Students, admissions counselors, also finding out, maybe where our students were denied and trying to figure out, well, why were they denied? And then how do we address that for the future? All data and all information. And you're right, you are excelling here. But I think there's always that room for improvement, that room to grow. We all see that, right? We see that in ourselves, we see that in our profession, in our personal lives. There's always room to grow. So we better be challenging ourselves each and every day to grow, to develop, to improve. If you look around us, the world each and every day is doing just that. We need to do the same. This world is an amazing place today. We're preparing students, many of which the career that they will go into, we don't even know about yet. I mean, I'm seeing cars that drive themselves now. How amazing is that? The things that Amazon and Google are doing, incredible. These other companies out there, artificial intelligence, exoskeletons, they're helping people that can't walk be able to walk and move about now. Wow. Well, what are we doing now to develop our students and get them ready for this world that's coming? You know, where are the critical thinking skills? Where's the analysis? Where's the collaborative skills? Where's the ability to fail and to learn from it and keep trying and improving and growing? You know, that's what we do. So we're looking at developing that in the education process.
Thank you. I think that's a perfect note to end. I want to thank Alan and Chris for joining us today. Thank all of you for joining us today. Please provide your comments. And Joy will turn the website off after 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, so please provide your comments. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.